Budget Day. It represents mixed bag of emotions for all. Some people are happy, some are sad, and some are just neutral. People feel that budget doesn't impact them. But no, budget impacts every sphere of life. Every person who's living in an economy is affected by budget. Maybe in small proportion or in large proportion, as the case may be, but budget touches each and every one of us. Hello and welcome guys, and welcome to this short vlog. And yes, in this particular vlog we are going to discuss the budget which has come in today itself. And yes, today's entire day was a busy day. Why? Because share markets were down, gold rate was down, everything was down, and the sentiments of people were absolutely revolving around the budget. And soon as the budget was out, the hype which was created, the tension which was glaring for a couple of months now, came to a standstill. Many of you might be wondering, sir, why budget has been released in the month of July? So many of my students who don't know about this, let me clarify. In the election year, if elections are proposed in a particular year, then budget is not to be announced pre-elections. Otherwise, the ruling party can, it is felt that ruling party can lure the voters using favorable budget pronouncements. So budget is always declared in the year of election, post-elections. And that is the reason why in the year 2024, the budget was not released in February 2024. Budget was released in February 2024, but it was a replica of 2023 budget with some procedural changes in it. Okay, it was just a replica of 2023 budget. There was no new major amendment with respect to anything in February month. But in July 2024 month, the actual budget came into picture, and this budget will now be applicable on the rest of the year. So yes, this is also a tricky thing to understand, that effective 24th of July, the budget rates will be applicable. Post facto, the budget rates will be applicable, and the first half or the first few months of the year, the earlier provisions will apply. This is the complexity which arises when budget comes in the middle of the year. So that is also an interesting fact to note. One more interesting fact to note in this particular budget is that this budget has been presented by our finance minister, Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman. The best part about this budget is that it's her 7th consecutive budget, which means that this is once for a lifetime event that any finance minister in India has presented 7th consecutive budget. So this is a great momentous moment for the country and for Nirmala ma'am, yes, because 7th consecutive budget presented by the same finance minister. So this is also a unique fact about this particular budget. So yes, let us now discuss about the main highlights of the budget. Of course, in one short video, we cannot cover the entire amendments in the budget, but the ones which I felt that these are important and relevant for all the CMA students, all the CMA qualified students or CMA pursuing students, I've culled down all those provisions in one page and tried to summarize it for all of you. Starting with the deduction, standard deduction for salary, which was earlier 50,000. It has been increased to 75,000. Yes, a good increase for salaried class. Their standard deduction will now be increased from 50,000 to 75,000 rupees, increasing 25,000 of the exemption. LTCG, long-term capital gain. Earlier there was a basic exemption limit up to 1 lakh rupees. There was no LTCG tax, but now this limit has been increased to 1,25,000. Correspondingly, there has been an increase in tax rate also. So you can say that, sir, is the finance minister trying to set off the benefits and the the proposed losses that taxpayers will bear? You can say that, but the tax rate has been increased from 10% to 12.5% with respect to long-term capital gain 112A. The tax has been increased slightly, nominally 2.5%. Now comes the major worrisome provision, and the provision because of which the credit of market going down can be attributed to, the major bit of credit can be attributed to this particular provision. Short-term capital gain has been increased from 15% to 20% for the listed company or the STT paid company. Now, this is a provision which has actually dwelled into the market, and because in market short-term capital gain is a very usual stream of income for many traders, stock dealers, stock brokers, and all the people who are dealing with in markets, especially for listed companies. Of course, markets are dealt with listed companies only. So this is a major blow. This is a major impact. 5% direct increase. Long-term capital gain has been increased by 2.5%. However, short-term capital gain has been increased by 5%. So yes, Government of India is clearly privy to this fact that Indian stock market has skyrocketed in past few months or past few years, and in future also Indian stock market will touch pinnacle of success, pinnacle of heights, and therefore preempting a situation where Indian stock markets are going to really be bombastic in near future, the income tax rate, short-term capital gain tax rate has also been increased. This is my version of the theory, okay? Don't say that has Nirmala Sitharaman has told you all these things. No, this is my version, my thought process of analyzing this fact that why 2.5% in case of long-term capital gain and why 5% increase in case of short-term capital gain. So analyzing these two figures, I could at least get on to this particular conclusion that yes, the stock markets, the way they have shown a bullish trend over the past few years, they are going to show it in future as well, considering that government has to definitely extract their pie, their share of the benefits, and this is their share of benefits. Another amendment which is worth noting with respect to capital gains is that the classification between short-term and long-term capital asset has underwent a change. What is the slight change in the classification? Guys, earlier there were three categories in which we used to split our capital assets in. Number one category was the listed shares. If the listed shares are held for more than 12 months before they are sold, then they will be treated as long-term capital assets. Then equity or shares which are with respect to unlisted company or immovable property being land or building or both, for them the threshold limit was 24 months. If they were held for more than 24 months, then they would have been termed as long-term capital asset, and for any other asset it was 36 months. Okay, now the proposal is that this remains the same. Listed financial assets, this remains the same. 12 months, above 12 months long term, less than 12 months short term, but the second category is 24 months and there is no third category. So all the other assets apart from listed securities now will fall under 24 months category, and all other assets will be termed as long term soon as they cross the threshold of 24 months. This is a big amendment because if the assets are termed as long term, then the capital gain tax rates are relatively less as compared to short term capital gain tax rates. So earlier the assets will come under category of long term capital assets, lower will be the tax rates for all the taxpayers. Foreign companies tax rates, yes, ease of doing business in India. Foreign companies tax rate, a much needed amendment, and it should have come long back, because why foreign companies should pay tax as high as 40% and Indian companies at a lower tax bracket. So this disparity is now being bridged, and this tax rate has reduced from 40% to 35% now. Family pension exemption, a beautiful move, a very good move. Family pension, there was a threshold limit, there was a exemption of 15,000 rupees which was given. Now it has been increased to 25,000 rupees. TDS on e-commerce operators, has been reduced from 1% to 0.1%. Now there has been a slab change, the new tax regime, yes, 115 BAC. Sir, I don't know what is government doing, sir. Sir, old tax regime, then option between old and new, now new, then another new. What is government doing with all this rejuggling which is happening? So guys, even a small shift in this tax regime means a lot of revenue for the income tax department, or a lot of revenue lost to the income tax department. So these small changes which government does is just an experiment towards the towards having an equilibrium where people, the salaried people are also happy, and the government is also giving away some, and taking away some. So the balance is required to be maintained. Therefore, the change in slab rates every year by 1 lakh or 2 lakh is seen in budgets. This year, the change has been the first slab rate remains the same, 3 lakh rupees, 3 lakh rupees. Then the second slab rate, 3 lakh to 6 lakh, has been increased to 3 lakh to 7 lakhs, 5%. Then 6 lakh to 9 lakh was the earlier slab rate. Now it is 7 lakhs to 10 lakhs, 10%. 9 lakhs to 12 lakhs earlier. Now it is 10 lakh to 12 lakh, 15%. And the last two slab rates remain the same. So, what is the approximate benefit which a person will get after these change in the slab rate? Guys, approximately 17,500 per annum is the benefit which a salaried person is expected to get by the reduction in the slab rates, by the change in the slab rates. So that is the change in the slab rates. Then there are certain miscellaneous provisions which have been introduced. I'm not going to go into details of these provisions because just the highlights cannot cover all these provisions in great detail. These are really good steps towards making economy really tax friendly and investor friendly. First of all, equalization levy has been rationalized in a major way. So equalization levy is levied on the people who are providing online information services, online services. Everything is online now, be it software, be it any technical know-how services or anything which is provided online. So there was a separate, apart from income tax, there was a separate tax levy which was known as equalization levy, which was imposed a few years back. That has been considerably rationalized, considering the fact that companies should not fall under double taxation, or companies who are operating outside the country, they should not be subject to double taxation or increased taxation regime, or where they're not supposed to pay tax, they're paying taxes. Considering this fact, there has been a major rationalization of equalization levy. Secondly, the TDS rates on e-commerce operators, this we have already discussed. Reassessment, the reassessment timelines, the reassessment procedures, their timeline has been reduced from 10 years to 6 years. Now, a case which is a search case, search and seizure case, that can be reopened up to a maximum of 6 years and not 10 years. That is the time limit which has been reduced. Then rationalization of mechanism of effective disposal of pending cases. So the pending cases which is in before appeals, that is a big burden on Indian judicial system as well as the income tax department. In a very good step to reduce this pending litigation, reduce the burden on the income tax department as well as the taxpayers, Vivad Se Vishwas scheme was introduced long back, and this has been revamped every year. This year also this has been revamped, and an effective mechanism of reducing number of appeals which are pending before CIT appeals and ITAT. Very strong measures have been proposed in this particular bill regarding disposal of the pending appeals. Now let me tell you a very important point with respect to this particular budget, that guys, whenever a budget is declared, why is it known as a budget or a bill and not an act? Because currently it's just a proposal. So these are just proposal. These are not enactment as of now. When this particular bill, this is a bill, okay, this is not an act, this is not law as such. So I've always used the word proposed amendment. These are the proposed amendments. Once this bill will be passed in both the houses, at that point in time it will become an act. After getting presidential assent, obviously it will become an act, and then it will become Income Tax Act, a part of Income Tax Act 1961, and that is why this is known as a bill and not an act. This is just a budget proposal. It's not a provision of law as of now. This is also just for your knowledge. You should be aware about these terminologies, which are very, very important. Of course, you must be either studying direct taxation or will be studying direct taxation in the near future if you are a CMA foundation student. So all these things should be now the new normal for you. Talking about CMA Intermediate and final students who are giving their attempt in December 2024, you must be really worried, sir. Budget is out. What will be its impact for December 2024 examination? So we have already bought the classes. We are already studying the old amendments. We are already studying the old budget 2023. Sir, will the new budget be applicable to us for December 2024 attempt? Answer is no. The new budget, the budget which has come today in the month of July 2024, will not be applicable for December 2024 student. The budget will be applicable from June 2025. So June 2025 and December 2025, this budget will be applicable to all those students who are giving their direct taxation paper, be it intermediate or final. The budget will be applicable in the exam session of June 25 and December 25. 25. For December 24, the old budget, which is 2023 budget, will be applicable to all of you, which you are already studying. You must have taken the amended classes, and amendments are already in your hands. So do not have a look at this budget at all and just focus on your studies. This budget is not for you, but yes, once you qualify your examination, it's really relevant to study this budget and analyze this budget, because in future you will be needing it. All right, so yes, this was my analysis of the budget 2024. Some key highlights, key points are in front of you. Comment in the comment section below if you are wanting me to discuss any particular provision of the act, any provision that you want me to discuss. Please mention in the comment box below, and I'll be happy to prepare a separate video for that particular provision. Plus, if your December 2024 exam is round the corner, guys, comment in the comment section below how many hours of studies are you undertaking these days. How many hours of studies are you undertaking these days for December 2024 attempt? Comment in the comment section below, and let me see what are your preparations for December 2024 attempt. Quick time check. Time is not far now. Okay, July is almost about to end. We have just August, September, October, November, 4 months at our disposal. Pull up your socks, burn that midnight oil, give it your best shot for December 2024 attempt. On that positive note, all the very best and happy studying.